So this is around.
However, we are here to live broadcast of this China saga.
Well, good morning from Capitol Hill. I just entered the grounds of the Executive Mansion where the Solidarity Trust for a New Day had planned today to assemble in a protest they say is against government inaction on citizens' grievances, economic hardship, and declining welfare of citizens and the economy, accountability and the issue of corruption, defense of fundamental rights, strengthening democratic governance, political timing and tensions, among many other things. Stand says is protesting today. They held a previous protest, but then, according to them, they needed the president to have come out in person on the grounds of the protest to accept their petition, but that was not the case. The president did not turn out. The president did not, appear on the grounds of the protest to receive their petition, and so they vowed to have protested today. And today is December 17th, the day of stand protest. My name is Yekezi Ruben, coming to you live from up Capitol Hill. Like I said, I just sent the Executive Mansion. So we are here to provide you every bit of happening here. As you can see in the camera, we have police officers who have been deployed here since this morning at about 5 o'clock. As per what we've been seeing on social media, officers of the Liberian National Police, specifically the riot police officers, have been deployed here. Probably they were expecting a tactic from stand protesters to have assembled very, very early in the morning, thereby making it very difficult for them to be dispersed from the grounds of the Executive Mansion. And so they decided to have come here very early in the morning to man the grounds of the Executive Mansion, ensuring that no protesters, assemble at the grounds of the Executive Mansion that has been declared as a no-go zone. So we can see the water cannon vehicle ahead of us there is posted. Behind it, we see the fire truck, and we see a barricade. The one we call the barbed wire here has been placed on the road, signaling that no one is allowed to enter the grounds of the Executive Mansion, specifically in front of the Executive Mansion, to carry out any form of protest action. On the other hand, from the look of the traffic is flowing well. There's not much congestion here, probably because it is still early. There's not much congestion here. Usually at 9-10 o'clock there can be huge traffic congestion here up Capitol Hill, especially at the University of Liberia route. The cream and brown fence you see there is it belongs to the University of Liberia. And yes, as of now, I can say there is free flow of traffic here from the grounds of the capital. So let's have a good time together here, bringing you every bit of happening about this protest today. It's 8:30. That's the initial time check in Monrovia and its environs. There are vehicles that are allowed to plow through the route of the executive mansion or the UN draft route, but then the police, has instituted some protocols. The police have put into place some protocols. Any vehicle passing that route has to be properly inspected, has to be properly examined before passing. When I came earlier, I saw, citizens, going here and there, being allowed to enter that particular area, but they have to be thoroughly examined before entering or before exiting that particular area. So we are here, Spoon TV Live. We're here to bring you every bit of happening here from Capitol Hill. So the Liberian National Police a few hours ago released a statement pertaining to this protest. According to the police, before the protest, they've been in conversation with the planners of the protest to ensure that the protest is deferred to a later date, that is after the festive season. But in spite of their dialogue, many dialogues with the planners of the protesters, there were indications on social media and other platforms that the protests will continue. And of course, Stan has remained very firm that they will continue their protest action on today. Yeah. Some religious leaders as well, have been calling on Stan to postpone the protest or defer it because of the festive season. As you may know, usually in the country's capital, there's a lot of congestion. There are a lot of people who come from Leeward counties and other places to come and spend the festive season with their friends, family members, and loved ones. And so the capital of the country becomes hugely densely populated, I would say it, and religious leaders have said that have appealed to stand that even though it is a constitutional right to protest, but for the sake of the festive season, not to frighten Liberians, because the issue of protest usually comes with fear that there's going to be violence, that there's going to be some form of chaotic scene, that may lead to something else, that may escalate into something else. So the LCC, the Liberian Council of Churches, has appealed to stand to postpone the protests. But from the look of things, Stan did not listen. In fact, Stan took objection to the statement coming from the LCC and other religious leaders, especially folks from the Christian community. And Stan has his own problem with the LCC leaders that they've been mute when it comes to a lot of issues confronting citizens, a lot of happenings within the government, a lot of things that they think the government is not doing right. They've not been able to address or advise the government on some of those issues, but they've been mute. So why are they coming up now? Stand from their perspective, see the LCC as an organization that is siding with the government, especially so, the head of the Liberia Council of Churches is an appointee within this government, so they see that, as a conflict of interest. But folks, we are here. We hope to see what happens here. We understand from what we've seen on social media that the protesters and the planners of the protests are, getting ready. They are getting all set to assemble here later on today. So we see how everything here is going to play out. Whether the protesters will, kind of challenge the orders from the police not to protest on the grounds of the executive mansion, or whether if they come and see that the grounds of the executive mansion has already been barricaded, whether they will they will decide to maybe stage a protest at another venue. The last protest was held right from between the Capitol building and the University of Liberia Capitol Hill campus. So let's see whether that's where they will assemble once again. If they come here, I believe they are already in the know that this area has been barricaded. They are already in the know that the police has given a stern warning that nobody is allowed to protest on the grounds of the executive mansion. But they believe it is their constitutional right. They believe yesterday there were protests, that were held at the grounds of the executive mansion, and so the same must repeat. But whatever the case is, we are here, folks. Spoon TV Live. Police officers are here, joining us are all here, and of course no more activities are ongoing. There's free flow of traffic right now. There's no hindrance to traffic right now, and the no-go zone restriction remains in order according to the Liberian National Police. So for those of you motorcyclists that are watching or listening, yes, this is not an opportunity to ply the principal streets of Monrovia. It's always been a no-go zone, and that no-go zone order remains in effect according to the statement released by the Liberian National Police a few hours ago. So we are here, folks. Spoon TV Live. Let's take a look down at the traffic. Yep, there is free flow of traffic here up Capitol Hill. Okay, so Spoon TV Live. My name is Yekezi Jubel, coming to you live from Capitol Hill. That is expected to be very, very eventful today because of the planned protest by Stand. So, what are some of the reasons for which Stand says they are protesting? So, like I said earlier, they talked about government in action on citizens' grievances, and as a matter of fact, this protest is not only being held by Stand, it is being held by Stand and other, civil society organizations. So they say the government has failed to respond meaningfully to the demands raised during the July 17 Enough is Enough protests. And that Enough is Enough protest highlighted some systemic problems affecting Liberians. During that protest, they argue that the action of the government to their plus, to their concerns, it shows disregard for the concerns of the Liberian people. And they also talked about economic hardship and declining welfare of the Liberian people. So according to them, the issue of unemployment is high, and it's something that the government of Liberia has admitted to, as one of their biggest challenges. They said they've not been able to do well when it comes to, creating jobs, especially for the thousands and thousands of young people that graduate from universities, from colleges, from vocational institutions yearly, to be employed, to improve their standard of living or quality of lives. They also talk about collapse of essential services as some of the core drivers of their protest. And another issue they are protesting for today, they said, is the issue of accountability and corruption. So, according to Stand, the government, the government is marked by a lot of corruption allegations, and that the president and his lieutenants have failed, to investigate the issues of corruption. Especially so some of the allegations they made when they were in opposition relating to corruption, alleged corruption. They have taken power, but since then they have not been able to, investigate or launch an investigation into some of these, allegations of corruption. The GSE has released several, reports of, corruption, following audits at various government institutions. But those, reports are, on the docket. And according to them, the president is doing little or nothing to investigate those issues. They're also protesting for the defense of human rights, the fundamental rights of Liberians. So they claim that Liberians are being suppressed by the government, particularly with police warnings and restrictions around protest locations, like the executive mansion and all of that. There have been mysterious deaths in the country that the police have not been able to, investigate, or that those matters, some of them have been forwarded to court, and there's a lot of delays when it comes to bringing up findings in some of those cases. So a lot of issues STAN says is protesting for here today, and we are here to bring you live every bit of happening here. As you can see, vehicles are passing through the route of the executive mansion or the UN draft route. Yes, but some of the vehicles are private vehicles, but they are thoroughly inspected. They are examined, and before being allowed to pass through that route. Individuals, Liberians, ordinary citizens are also allowed to pass, because I've seen the ERU officers, giving permission to ordinary citizens to use that route as well. So as you can see, for them, I think they are headed to the Public Procurement and Concession Commission. But Spoon TV Live is here to bring you every bit of happening in Monrovia, specifically on Capitol Hill, that has to do with stand protest. So let's go to the Facebook page of the Liberian National Police to bring you their release regarding this protest today. Let's hear verbatim what the Liberian National Police has said about this protest. So this is what the LNP says. It says LNP calls for calm, lawful conduct and consideration ahead of December 17 protest. It says the Liberian National Police has taken note of public announcements regarding a planned protest by the group STAN scheduled for December 17, which is today. And in keeping with this constitutional mandate to protect life and property, the LNP wishes to inform the public that it formally engaged the leadership of STAN ahead of the proposed activity. This engagement forms part of the police's standard preventive and dialogue-based approach to public order management. During the meeting, the LNP highlighted key public safety, mobility, and crowd management considerations associated with the Christmas festive season, a period marked by increased commercial activity, higher population movement, family travel, and expanded national security responsibilities. The police, okay, so I beg your pardon. So it says the police emphasize that large public gatherings during this period pose heightened risks to public safety and the free movement of citizens. In that context, STAN was advised in good faith to consider deferring the protest to a more appropriate date after the holidays. Despite this engagement, the LNP has seen public communications indicating an intention to go ahead with the protests as planned. The police therefore reiterates that while the constitutional right to peaceful assembly is fully respected, such rights must be exercised lawfully and responsibly in a manner that does not endanger public safety or disrupt the rights of others. The public is reminded that the grounds of the executive mansion are not designated for protests or demonstrations, and all existing restrictions on motorcycles and tricycles remain fully in force. Any violations of the law will be addressed promptly and professionally under the laws of the Republic of Liberia. The Liberian National Police remain committed to dialogue, restraint, and professionalism, and values continued collaboration with all civic actors. This approach reflects the LNP's resolve to balance constitutional freedoms with its responsibilities to safeguard national peace and public order. Yeah, basically, I think that's the meat of that press release. And let's try to as well bring you the statement from Stand. The Solidarity Church for a New Day has also released a statement in reaction to the statement coming from the Liberia National Police. So once I get hold of their statement, yes, I'm going to read, but that statement is all about Stand rejecting the LNP press statement. But Spoon TV Live is here to bring you every bit of happening from up Capitol Hill. So that's a pickup full with ERE officers just passing by. So we're just trying to bring you a view of what is believed to be the scene of the protest action Stand, headed by the former chairman of the CDC, Moba Malu, who has transformed quickly to a civil society activist right after the 2023 election that saw the defeat of the CDC. So he now heads the civil society group Stand, and Stand has been very vocal when it comes to criticizing the government, when it comes to flagging and criticizing ills within the Liberian society. They've held one of the largest protests since this regime, and today is the repeat of their protest, because according to them, they had expected the president, Ambassador Joseph Yumambwaka, to come out on July 17, to receive their petition, but that wasn't the case. Instead, lawmakers came out to receive their petition, but their main demand is to see that the president accepts their petition in person. And after the July 17th protests, they had said that if the government fails to address their concerns, address their plaques, of course they were going to return on today here up Capitol Hill, this time at the executive mansion, or between the Capitol building and the executive mansion route to protest. And today is the day that they have long talked about, and we are here this morning to bring you every bit of events that are expected to happen here on today. Still TV Live is here to bring you every broadcast of happenings. So we'll take some pictures. Okay, Spawn TV Live, we're still here up Capitol Hill, bringing you live coverage of today's protest. Waiting to see, how soon the protesters will be here. Whether it is this morning, I can remember vividly that during the previous protest, the protesters, did not turn out very early. They started, conglomerating in from various venues around about 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, even at 1 o'clock. All of the protesters had not yet assembled here on Capitol Hill. I think at that time they were en route to Capitol Hill. So let's see how it's going to be like today, whether it is the same tactic that they will execute today. We are yet to see that. But whatever the case is, Spoon TV is here to bring you every bit of happening. Let's bring you the release from Stand. So following the police statement press release, as you may call it, regarding today's protest. Stan released a statement, and it is captioned or headlined, Stan rejects lawless police orders. It says, you cannot stop us from assembling where you protested yesterday. And that is in regards to the police statement, because the police had, said that the executive mansion grounds is not going to be a protest zone. No protester will gather or assemble at the grounds of the executive mansion adjacent which we are posted currently. So it says, Stand and the December Protest Coalition categorically rejects the Liberia National Police's claim that the executive mansion grounds are not designated for protests. This section is historically dishonest, legally baseless, and politically selective, and constitutes a direct insult to constitutional democracy. It is rejected in its entirety. So I'm reading directly from the Stand press statement reacting to the police orders regarding today's protest. It says, it is both shameful and hypocritical that the same executive mansion grounds freely used for protests and assemblies in 2019 and 2020 by those now in power are today being falsely declared off limits, simply because citizens are again demanding accountability. This disgraceful reversal has nothing to do with law or public order. It is pure fear of the people. Stand emphasizes that constitutional rights do not expire, relocate, or disappear when political power changes hands. What was lawful yesterday cannot become unlawful today by convenience or command. Peaceful assembly at or near the seat of government is a globally recognized democratic norm. Accordingly, Stand will assemble peacefully, lawfully, and resolutely at the executive mansion, just as others before us did, without violence, without provocation, and without fear. And that's the part I don't understand, because if you say you will assemble without violence, and the police has given you a direct order that no protester would assemble on between the executive mansion and the Capitol building, then it becomes a problem when you say that there's going to be no provocation, because when you attempt to enter the grounds of the executive mansion, definitely there is going to be a reaction. There is going to be a reaction from the police. The police is going to stop you. As a matter of fact, the police has come fully prepared. The police have been deployed here since this morning, with their water cannon vehicle. I'm seeing a single water cannon vehicle here, or the one we call the hot water truck is here. I see the fire truck here also. They are all posted here to ensure that nobody enters the grounds of the executive mansion to protest. When I say nobody, I'm talking about protesters. Folks working at the executive mansion, passing by and going to work. The only thing is that they have to respect the police protocols of, examining their vehicles and other items they have on them. Those, working at the Capitol building, they are given the permission to go to work. If you're working at the Ministry of Information, of course, you can come and you are coming from the Syncope Belt or the Pinsville area. Yes, you can pass through to go to your workplace. But I think there's going to be some form of provocation. You know, when the police, in fact, when the protesters attempts, to go against the order of the police, because the ERU officers posted here have been given a direct order not to in any way allow any protester enter the grounds of the executive mansion. So if any protester does, I believe there's going to be a reaction. And when there is a reaction from the police, I also believe that some of the protesters may want to resist the reaction coming from the police. Yeah, but still reading through the press statement from Stand, it says invoking Christmas to suppress or postpone a peaceful protest. Okay, so just before we continue, let's see what's happening there in the traffic. What the siren being blown there is about, and I see is an ERU pickup, the one that passed through the UN drive route earlier. This time around, I'm seeing more than one, more than two, more than three, and I'm seeing a Land Cruiser filled with ERU pickup police officers as well. I think they are just patrolling through the city to ensure that this protest is conducted or is held in a peaceful on a peaceful atmosphere. Yeah, so let's continue with the release from Stand. I usually try to mix the two names, Stand and Stand Liberia. So Stand Liberia is a separate organization by itself that I know are a registered organization. I hear some people say Stand Liberia, but that's the name of another organization. If you say Stand Liberia now, then you'll be talking about another organization. So for the civil society group headed by Moba Moru, the former chairman of the CDC, is just Stand, the Solidarity Trust for a New Day, and the acronym is just STAND. Yes, it is a Liberian civil society organization, but there is another organization that is registered and named Stand Liberia. For that, the focus is enhancing or promoting youngster education. So let's continue with Stand press release here. Stand says in reaction to the police statement regarding deferring or postponing the protests until after the festive season. This is what Stand said. In that regard, Stand says invoking Christmas to suppress or postpone a peaceful protest is disingenuous and unacceptable. Millions of Liberians are entering the so-called festive season hungry, unemployed, dispossessed, and brutalized by state actors. There is nothing festive about poverty. That's funny. Stand is saying that there is nothing festive about poverty, police abuse, land grabs, corruption, and impunity. Christmas is being weaponized as a cover to silence suffering, while a privileged elite feeds in excess. The Constitution recognizes no holiday suspension of freedom. If the Liberian National Police is genuinely concerned about public safety, it must clearly and publicly commit to no use of excessive force, no deployment, of tear gas or live ammunition, no intimidation, harassment, or arbitrary arrests of peaceful protesters. Silence on these matters is not neutrality, but complicity. Warning against intimidation. STAN will not submit to veiled threats disguised as professional reminders. Any attempt to suppress, disrupt, or violently confront peaceful protesters will rest squarely and permanently on the shoulders of those who issue such orders. History is unambiguous. Governments that turn state security against peaceful citizens always fail, and the consequences follow the perpetrators, not the people. The December 17 Lead or Leave protests will proceed as planned. It will be peaceful, it will be orderly, it will be constitutional, and it will never submit to police intimidation or autocratic pressure. Liberia belongs to its people, not to uniforms, and not to offices or temporary occupants of power. Tomorrow we will march to, that is today now, today we will march to the mansion Unstoppable. And this was signed by Mobake Molu Jr., the chairman of STAND and We the People movement. And it says enough is enough, and they are calling on the president to lead or to leave. So folks, there is a very free flow of traffic here up Capitol Hill. I mean, the congestion here is number. I'm not sure it's because of today's protest, but the congestion here is something that happens here every day, especially of recent. There's been huge traffic congestions in various parts of Monrovia. Apparently because of the festive season, because there are a lot of Liberians who leave the Leeward counties, who leave the various counties, students, and head to the nation's capital, Monrovia, or Painesville, to celebrate the festive season. And as well, some citizens leave from Monrovia, to the counties to celebrate the festive season. But a large number of citizens usually come to the city during the festive season. Commercial activities in the capital city, in Painesville as well, heartening or increase. So that might be one of the factors or the rationale behind the traffic congestion in the city, but also especially around the ministerial complex route. As you may know, the flyover is being constructed there. The overhead bridge, the overhead bridge is being constructed there, and of course, because of the roadworks, obviously, there's usually traffic there during the morning hours. Even though prior to the roadworks, there's been traffic congestion there during the morning hours and during the evening hours, but not as long-lasting as it is right now. So I think the traffic here, I will say, is normal as of recent trends when it comes to traffic congestion in Monrovia. The city cleaners from the Monrovia City Corporation, they are carrying out their, they carrying on their normal cleaning activities. So, folks, you are watching Spawn TV Live, and my name is Yekezi Ruben here up Capitol Hill, and I hope to be joined by other colleagues to bring you live every bit of happening here up Capitol Hill. Yeah, we are not seeing much of a drama here this morning yet, and I believe that is only because the protesters are yet to arrive up Capitol Hill, and we will be expecting to see, or we're looking forward to see what will happen if the protesters should arrive here up Capitol Hill, whether they would attempt violating, let me not say violating, but challenging the order from the Liberia National Police that they are not allowed to protest on the grounds of the Executive Mansion or between the Capitol building and the Executive Mansion, where the famous June 7 protest was held under the George Weah regime. And that is why I stand believe that for the fact that the previous government granted opposition at the time the right to protest between the Executive Mansion and that of the Capitol building, similar action must be reciprocated by the current government. And so right now that is the bone of contention. The bone of contention is whether or not Stand Liberia will protest or will attempt to go against the police order to protest on the grounds of the Executive Mansion. And if they do so, what is going to be the reaction from the Liberia National Police? As we can see already, ERU officers have all been deployed here. We see a deployment of the joint security, not just ERU officers, because we see folks from the immigration service, the Liberia Immigration Service. They are also deployed here. I also see folks from the EPS. I see EPS officers. They are all here, helping to maintain calm, helping to maintain stability here up Capitol Hill. So if you are watching us, you watching live, please help share the live, because others have got to join in to actually follow this event. So if you are watching us, we will appreciate if you share for us the live so that others can join in. And for those of you watching right here in Liberia, especially business personnel, if you're business personnel, the police has given an assurance that it is going to ensure that lives and property are protected. The police has given assurance that everything here is going to be stable. That is only if the protesters abide by their audits, and the protesters themselves, usually when there's protests, there are some unscrupulous people among the protesters who objective is to cause chaos, who objective is to cause violence. Of course, if such people don't exhibit their attitude today, then of course it's expected to be all peaceful here. The last protest to a large extent was peaceful, but then there were casualties, there were injuries, among the protesters. There was brutality, based on resistance from some protesters, the reaction from the police, and all of that. We don't hope to see that here today, but it's not something that we can also rule out, because this is a protest, and usually during these events, there's a probability of violence, there's a probability of chaos, and when these things happen, of course, you expect casualties, you expect injuries, but we don't pray for that today, because we ourselves are here. So if anything happens the other way around, if anything happens than expected, of course we might be affected as well. And that is why we pray that it all goes well. So folks, for those of you watching from the diaspora, from outside Liberia, so to speak, the initial time checked here in Monrovia is 9:24, 24 minutes on the flip side of 9 o'clock. That is the initial time check here, and up to now we have not seen any protester here. We have not even seen a semblance of protestation. Yes, we have seen semblance of protestation, but not from the angle of the protesters, but from the angle of the police, because usually when protest actions are taking place here in Liberia, you have the police posted very early in the morning, to ensure that everything is peaceful, that everything is harmonious, that there's no violence or chaos. So yes, from the angle of the police, yes, it shows that there will be a protest, and so the police is ready. The police is prepared to intervene in whatever might be an eventuality here. But from the angle of the protesters, we've not seen any protester assemble here up Capitol Hill. There's been no protester here at all. Normal activities are ongoing here up Capitol Hill, but probably the protesters are converging at various locations as they usually do, as they did during their July 17 protest. They converged at different locations and marched here up Capitol Hill between the Capitol building and the University of Liberia's campus, where the previous protest was held. Probably that's going to be the case today. And the previous protest was, we did not, during the previous protest, we did not see the protesters, assemble as very early, even at about this time, 9:26 now in Monrovia. We did not see protesters assembling, particularly on the grounds of the Capitol. No. It was around about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock that we saw that, protesters began converging gradually on the grounds of the Capitol. So probably that's what's going to repeat itself here today. But we don't want to, we don't want to say that for sure. Because the protesters might just change their tactic or their strategy. So folks, let's see if we can just take a little bit of walk further to the water cannon vehicle, the hot water tank up there. Yep, you see police are all gathered here. They've been here since 5 o'clock this morning. Yep, they've been here since 5 o'clock this morning, or even, earlier than that.
Why you hold my water in your hand? You can't chant on my water. Come on. Okay, I
haven't got my bag yet. phone, TV live, coming to you from Capitol Hill here, adjacent the grounds of the Executive Mansion and the Capitol. So we're here to bring you events that are expected to unfold here, that have already begun unfolding here, because we already see a heavy presence of the joint security here. Journalists are all gathered here. And you know, a colleague of mine, a professional colleague of mine, was jokingly saying that, you know, is it the journalists that are protesting or stand? Yeah, because there are more journalists here. There are a lot of journalists here to provide coverage for this event. But that's the, you know, job of the journalists, you know, to bring information, to provide a coverage of happenings in the country. And of course, the journalists want to be on top of the information. The media institution want to be the very first on the ground to provide coverage. And so yes, that's why many journalists are here representing different media institutions. Yeah. EPS officers are also here. Okay, so I'm hearing from the EPS officers now that there's no entrance. Probably entrance or entry is given to certain individuals and not to certain individuals, because that individual riding the motorbike was denied entering the premises of the Executive Mansion here, that has been barricaded with barbed wire by the Liberian National Police. So there's no entrance or entry for certain individuals, apparently. This is the vehicle of Representative Musa Ability. That is Representative Musa Ability. They're heading to JAP. Yes, we understand that they have closed, but I think they've got some activities to do there while they are closed. This vehicle is being inspected as well. Let's see if it's going to be granted entry. Okay, he was given entry. So yes, I think some individuals are given entry as of now and others are not. So I see that vehicle heading inside of the Executive Mansion. So probably that individual works with the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, or has something to do with the presidency. That's why he was given an entry. See here other vehicles being given entry as well. But that motorcyclist who was here earlier was denied. The traffic here remains number. The traffic here remains number. Not very congested. building you see there is the PPCC headquarters. Yep. So gradually is approaching 10 o'clock. How's the time here now? It is 36 minutes on the flip side of 9 o'clock. That's the initial time check here. This lady has been given an entry. She probably works at the Ministry of State for Presidential Affairs, because I see her heading inside of the premises of the Executive Mansion. Musa Ability passed earlier on, the representative of District number 7, Nimba County, and political leader of the CMC. And one may say one of the trending newest but trending, political parties in the country right now. They and the government of Liberia had this hard and pulled over, bridge construction project in Bone County. By the end of the day, I think they were able to, settle their differences. I understand they were now given the go-ahead to carry out that bridge construction, which is said to be ongoing in Bone County. But that was important for the people of Bone County. Very, very important, because according to some of the residents spoken to about that, bridge, it's been like a death trap for a lot of residents in that area. People have gotten drowned in that area because of the lack of bridge. So I think constructing a bridge there is very important, and is an effort that needs to be welcomed, regardless who is undertaking the initiative. So I'm trying to figure out who has this convoy. Okay, so I think those are representatives. I saw the vehicle of the one of the lawmakers from Bone County, Representative Marvin Cole. Yeah, so those are vehicles belonging to representatives that just passed in a convoy. I don't know why, but the hot water tanker is on, and it's just here beating. Since I had arrived here, it's been on, set and ready. It's posted here to respond to any eventuality. So it's on, as well as the fire truck at the back of it. They are all on, and I see, officers positioned on top of it, and inside of it as well. I see officers positioned there. Apparently ready to attend to any eventuality that may occur. But one may say, yeah, even though the water tanker is here to attend to eventuality, but you know, there's no protester yet around. So why can't, you know, the officer just cut it off, you know, to save petroleum, to save fuel or gasoline, you know, whatever petroleum product it uses, you know, instead of just having it on and beating all along. Okay, so folks, Spawn TV Live coming to you from Capitol Hill, where stand the Solidarity Trust for a New Day is expected to hold a day-long protest here. And I think I'm not correct by saying a day-long protest, because Stan has said that even if their petition is not received, is not accepted by the president in person, they will sustain the protest action. They will protest continuously, day after day, until the president can come down from the executive mansion or from wherever he is to accept their petition. So they have said this protest action is going to be sustained. So I don't want to say that this is a day-long protest. It might, you know, be a sustained protest, going by what Stan Liberia has promised. But the issue of sustained protest in Liberia is something that is not obvious. It's something that is not easy to see. You know, I can't remember the last time a week-long protest or a protest was, you know, held in Liberia that lasted for days. I cannot vividly recollect that. Probably you can, but you know. So the big question about this protest is whether President Joseph Boakai will come down to accept the petition, because that is one of the reasons for the return of this protest. Because the protesters or organizers said the president did not, you know, come down to accept the petition himself, rather than the lawmakers, you know, accepting the petition. And again, I cannot recollect in our recent history for a president himself or herself to come down from the executive mansion, from his home or from his or her office, to accept petition from a group of protesters that are seemingly hostile to the leadership or to the administration of that president. I cannot recollect that, whether that has happened in our recent history. Usually what I see is that lawmakers are petitioned, and yes, usually the chair on rules and order comes out to accept petition on behalf of the legislators, if there is any, and if the petition is directly meant for the executive, of course a representative will be sent, you know, to receive the petition, rather than the president himself or herself coming down from his office at the executive mansion to, you know, receive the petition. So this is what Stand is demanding. I know one may say the protesters are peaceful citizens. They are citizens of Liberia. Yes, it's a fact that they are citizens of Liberia, but it's also I mean, I mean, one may assume that, and it's obvious that there's going to be some very unscrupulous people, and usually during the protest there are unscrupulous people. There are people that are very, very hostile. There are people with a different intent or intentions among, you know, the protesters. So I'm not sure, you know, the president's security will advise him to come out himself to receive the petition. I'm not, you know, very sure about that. Well, if they should do that, then of course the president will have to come out with you know, being guarded by heavy security, if that should happen. The hot water tanker is here beating since this morning. I mean, it's been on. And beyond it, I see the fire truck also beaming with lights. Apparently ready to attend to any eventuality that may occur here. Spoon TV Live, if you just join us, help to share the live so others can join to be informed, to know what's exactly happening here up Capitol Hill this morning. Is 8 minutes up until 10 o'clock. That's the initial time check here from Monrovia, Liberia. So I want to believe that the protesters are kind of converging now at various points to march through the principal streets of Monrovia, heading here up Capitol Hill to carry out their protest action. I'm assuming that is happening right now. So that's the entrance of the executive mansion there, where you saw that vehicle heading. Is the entrance of the executive mansion, and and where the the hot water tanker is parked, where the fire truck is also packed. That entire space going downward is where the protesters are demanding to protest. According to them, it is their constitutional right, to protest, and at that venue, because it is a government building, and protestations in other parts of the world, in other countries, are usually held at the entrances of a government building. So they do have the right, to protest before the government building, calling the government to action, to address their concerns of corruption, concerns of economic hardship, concerns of human rights abuse, as they say, and a lot of other reasons for which they are protesting here today. Well, as of the time that I arrived here this morning, I've now seen the convoy of the president arrived here at the executive mansion. Today is considered a normal day, a normal working day where everyone is expected to go about their normal activities. So if today is a normal day, if today is a working day, then of course, the president is expected here at the executive mansion to carry out his normal activity or duties as a president of the Republic of Liberia, except that he has other engagements or obligations outside of the executive mansion. But if not, then of course the president, Joseph Yimambuakai, is expected here at the executive mansion. But as of yet, the president has not arrived. So for those of you who are supposed or expected to use the UN draft route this morning, well, I'm sure from what I see here, not everyone is being permitted by the joint security here to use the UN draft route, because it passes through the executive mansion and that of the Capitol building on the opposite. So, and this is the venue that the protesters are demanding to assemble this morning to carry out their protest action, and it has been barricaded by officers of the Liberia National Police. And so not everyone, from the look of things, is allowed to, pass through this route with their vehicle. I've seen some individuals being denied entry passing through this particular route. Those that are passing through have to show ID cards. Their identities need to be known before they can be given permission to pass through. So I think it's just advisable that if you have no business at the executive mansion, if you have no business at the legislature, if you have no business at the Ministry of Information, it's just advisable that you use the auto route to get to your destination this morning instead of the UN draft route, because it's heavily protected by the joint security comprising the LNP, the immigration. I haven't seen officers of the LDA here yet, but I've seen immigration officers here. I've seen police officers. I've also seen EPS officers all posted here this morning to ensure calm. So let's take a little look at the traffic situation there on the principal road there. I think the traffic is flowing. Normally the traffic is flowing. There's not much of a traffic congestion here this morning. So yet there is no traffic congestion here. No more traffic activities are unfolding here from various locations. Okay, Spawn TV Live from the grounds of the capital here in Monrovia, Liberia. It's 8 minutes on the flip side of 10 o'clock. That is the initial time check here in Monrovia, and we're here to provide you full coverage of the Solidarity Trust for New Day's protest action today. So the protesters are expected to assemble. We don't yet know their main point of assembly, but they had said that they will be assembling at the grounds of the executive mansion, not inside the fence, but right before the entrance of the executive mansion, between the executive mansion and that of the Capitol. That is the legislative seat or building. So, but the police has given a direct order that there's going to be no assembly or gathering at this point. So even though the stand protest organizers said they remain firm on their decision to protest right here between the executive mansion and that of the Capitol building. So as of yet, we don't know where they actually be assembling, because going by the government order and seeing what is happening here, heavy presence of police. We see hot water tanker being posted here, to ensure that nobody protests at that particular point. It tells me that no protester will be allowed to go there, and if there is any attempt, to disobey the officers, I believe there's going to be some form of reaction that we hope does not turn chaotic, or that does not turn this entire protestation into a serious chaos or violence here up Capitol Hill this morning. But we look to see what happens. This protest is one of the major public protests on the Unity Party regime headed by Ambassador Joseph Yuma Boakai as president of the Republic of Liberia. The July 17 protest was one of them as well. I mean, this is just an extension of the July 17 protest because the same organizer said, the president failed to address their concerns, that the president failed to even come out into the protesting crowd to receive their petition and all of that. And so that is why they decided to schedule another protest, to ensure that the president comes out and receive their petition, and not just receiving their petition, but addressing some of the contents of their petition. So that's the reason the July 17 protest was extended to today, December 17, and is the stand protest is some of the major protests that have happened on the Unity Party led government. Yes, we know that other protests have been, happening, like smaller or local or civic resistance have been happening. We understand that there was a resistance against the president's appointment of a local governor in Newcrow Town, and that was in April and July in 2024, where roadblocks were set up and clashes were reported from the protesters there. We understand that soldiers' wives protested for better pay and benefits in early 2024, which led to the defense minister's resignation. Prince E. Johnson he was appointed by the president at the time, but the soldiers' wives, resisted his appointment. They were totally against his appointment because they said, he's not treated them well while serving as, head of the armed forces of Liberia. So, they protested his appointment as a minister of defense, and of course, that led to his resignation and the appointment of Madame Geraldine today, who's currently the defense minister. Madame George is today the defense minister. So yeah, that was a protest too that caused some standstill, especially when it comes to the movement of people in the country, because they held one of those protests at the RIA road. As we all know, that road is a very, very narrow road. So the roadblocks that were set up, caused intense traffic congestion. A lot of people were affected. People who had to go and who had to travel, who had travel schedules on that particular day. A lot of them were delayed. Some of them, couldn't travel that day because they went late and all of that. So I think that was one of the major protests on the Unity Party regime. Yeah, so those are some of the protests that have been held so far on this regime, and today's protest, which is an extension of the July 17 protest. Spawn TV Live, my name is Yekezi Zrubel, providing you live coverage and commentaries about happenings up Capitol Hill here. No protester has been seen here yet. No protester. If you should come up Capitol Hill, especially where I'm standing currently, you only see ordinary citizens moving by, moving from one location to another. You're going to see the barricade by the Liberia National Police, which is an indication to the protesters, a signal to the protester that no one is allowed or permitted to gather between the executive mansion and the Capitol here. So this car has been told to go back, and the driver is reversing, and that is why I advised earlier on that if you have no business up Capitol Hill, if you're not an employee of the Ministry of State, you're not an employee at the legislature, you're not an employee of the Ministry of Information, who's heading to work this morning, it's just advisable that you use other routes to get to your destination rather than the UN draft route, because this particular route is being heavily manned by officers of the Liberia National Police. So there are vehicles that are denied entry here, and there are vehicles that are permitted to enter, and I believe those that are being granted entry are those individuals that are maybe working with some of these government ministries and agencies that are just named. So that maroon taxi was denied passage here through the UN draft route. And of course, on the standby is the water tank and that of the fire truck. They are all here. Yeah, on the standby to attend to anything that may occur the other way around. So as we stand here providing coverage for today's protest, we see several vehicles belonging to the Liberian National Police, particularly pickups full with police officers patrolling the city of Monrovia from one end to another. The LCC, the Liberia Council of Churches, is one institution that is against this protest action. So they did not, as per their press conference, they're not against citizens protesting, against ills within the society. But they say what they are against is the timing of the protest. According to them, December is, a festive season, especially a time that many Christians, celebrate the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And during this time in Liberia, the commercial city, in fact, the capital city, Monrovia, is highly populated. Commercial activities here increase. So, according to them, having a protest amidst all of these, is not safe, for the citizens. We're seeing the immigration pickup over there. We're seeing police assembling over there. Don't exactly know what is happening there. Oh, okay. So I think food was brought. The Liberian National Police is supplying. Their officers are deployed here with food. So that is why you see the officers converging at the, immigration pickup you see there. So they have gone there for feeding. You see, food is being distributed. And I think they actually have to eat because I believe they have an immense job to do here today. So they need stamina, and I think food will help them get that stamina that they need to ensure stability here today as Stan goes on with this protest action. About eating part of the stuff. But it's all part of the development here now. It's all part of the development.
You're looking good. That's it, brother. No problem, brother. I'm gonna see you, man. Come in. I'm wrong, brother. I know. Yeah, that last done. But if I already don't hear you on that radio, my man. If I already don't hear you.
Okay, so please let us know now if there is sound. Yes, I'm seeing comments that there was no sound earlier. So just let us know now if the sound is okay. But I want to believe it's okay. But I just want a yes from you if you're watching. The sound should be okay now. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, so I've already seen a lot of yeses and okays. So that tells me that the sound is good and we are good to go. Spawn TV Live, my name is Yekezi Zobel here from Capitol Hill, where Stan Liberia is expected to assemble today in the second round of their protest, a protest that was held on July 17th of this year, but according to them, because the president did not come out to in person receive their petition, and so it was extended to this date, but not just because the president did not turn out, go in person to receive their petition, but according to them, if they will protest today, if the president fails to address some of the contents of their petition from the day of the protest, the previous protest on July 17th till now. So obviously to them, the president has not been able to address any concerns within a petition, because their petition, even though was not received by the president but was read on the day of the protest before the climax of the July 17th protest. So I want to believe any listening person or any listening government that wants to take action to address some of the issues that are contained within the protestation. Yeah, so I want to believe that they would have addressed them at about this time. So journalists are being told to go backward. I'm seeing the fire tanker. The fire tanker is there, is in motion. I don't know where it's moving to, but journalists are being told to go backward. Probably the president. The president's convoy is coming. I'm just assuming that it might be the convoy of the president, heading here, and that is why some security measures are being put into place. Readjustments are being done here up Capitol Hill. Okay, we are being told to go further backward, so I'm going a little bit distant away from the executive mansion, heading toward the... Okay, so we are heading toward the campus of the University of Liberia. Okay. Yeah, so for now we are across the road on the side of the University of Liberia. So I want to believe the president is on his way here. That is why that measure was put into place. So if the president is coming to work, then of course, like the police have said that today is a normal day, as usual, and the president is coming to work. That is if it is the president coming to work. I see the vehicle of the Liberia Broadcasting System, various police vehicles heading not inside of the executive mansion, but they are passing by the executive mansion. Traffic continues well here. There's now any semblance of congestion here, traffic congestion here, as of now, compared to earlier. Earlier there was a little bit of traffic congestion, but as of now, I think the stoppage of vehicles for the earlier convoy to pass cause the stoppage of vehicles here as well. But for in the passage of the convoy, everything, the traffic is flowing well. So folks, we will shortly be shutting down to come back in a few minutes. We want to do some adjustment, and right after that we come back because we are here all day to provide you live coverage of every bit of happening here. So we will shortly take a break right after what appears to be the arrival of the president, because I see the security officers, they are posted, and I want to believe from the local things here, the president might be on his way to the executive mansion. So we are with that just for some minutes. If the president arrives, then we can take a short break to be back with you.
Everybody at 2 o'clock. Reading newspaper, listening to radio news, 1991.
So if it is the president that's heading up Capitol Hill this morning, and if he's heading to work to perform his usual or normal duties amidst the expected protestation, does it mean that he might just be here when the protesters should have arrived? And how long will he stay here? And if he should stay here for a longer time, maybe up to 4 o'clock, because I believe this entire area will be crowded up, up to 4 o'clock. So if the president remains here till that time, how difficult would it be, to leave? But I mean, the executive mansion has another entrance around the I think that should be one of the exits of the executive mansion. So and that area is being manned, it's being well guarded by officers of the Liberian National Police. So if the president if he's coming to work, if he's actually headed here to work and stays here up to 4 o'clock, he might just use the other way to exit if this entire place here will be overcrowded by protesters at that time. So the fence, as you see there, is the fence of the University of Liberia the Capitol Hill campus of the university. Is what you see there, and those are all journalists seated on top, and some of them standing by after the security measure that was previously instituted. Yeah.
Excuse me. So is this the area the protesters are supposed to be gathering? Is that the information?
Yeah, they actually said it would gather over there from 47. So they expected to gather here. They are not allowed to gather over there.
Thank you.
Okay, so folks, we'll take a very short break to be back with you. Our viewers seeing some comments that there's no sound. I don't know what's happening, but we want to take a very short break to be back with you here. So let's take this break to be back. My name is Yekezi Zwobel. We will return very shortly after carrying out some adjustments on our equipment here. Okay, yes. Yes, the sound is okay. Yes, I do know that, but we just have to take a break to be back with you. We are here all day, and probably if this protest should be sustained as Stand has vowed, then of course we will be here for many days to provide live coverage here. So we have to take a break to be back with you.